The illusion of the grind. Imagine waking up every single day with a knot in your stomach. The alarm goes off, and before your feet even touch the floor, the heavy weight of the world settles on your shoulders. Bills to pay, deadlines to meet, emails piling up, and a relentless, exhausting chase for more. We live in a society that tricks us into believing a very dangerous lie, that happiness is a finish line. We are told, once you get that promotion, once you buy that dream house, once your bank account hits a certain number, then you will finally be happy. So we run on the treadmill, faster and faster. We sacrifice our peace, our sleep, and our present moments for a future promise that always seems just out of reach. But what if everything we have been taught is completely backwards? What if happiness isn't the reward at the end of the race, but the fuel we need to actually enjoy the journey? Today, I want to share with you a story about an ordinary man who discovered a breathtaking, extraordinary secret, a secret that changed everything. The story of Arthur, a life spent waiting. Let me introduce you to Arthur. Arthur wasn't a billionaire, a world-famous philosopher, or a spiritual guru. He was an ordinary man. For over 40 years, Arthur worked as an accountant in a quiet, slightly dusty office building. His life was defined by predictability. Every morning, he took the exact same bus at 7:30 a.m., sat at the same desk, ate the same turkey sandwich for lunch, and returned home to a quiet apartment. To the outside world, Arthur's life looked utterly mundane, bordering on invisible. And for most of his life, Arthur felt that way too. For decades, Arthur lived in the waiting room of his own life. He would tell himself, "I'll be happy when I retire. I'll relax when the mortgage is paid off. I'll enjoy life once the kids are grown." He postponed his joy, trading today's peace for tomorrow's security. But time has a way of moving faster than we expect. One Tuesday afternoon, shortly after his 65th birthday, Arthur experienced a moment that shattered his routine. While looking for an old tax file in the basement archive, he stumbled upon a box of his childhood belongings. At the very bottom lay a small, worn-out notebook he hadn't seen in over 50 years. He opened it. On the first page, written in his own clumsy childhood handwriting, was a simple question his grandfather had asked him when he was 10 years old. "What did you love today?" Arthur stared at the page, and a cold realization washed over him. As he looked back over the last 40 years of ledgers, spreadsheets, and endless worry, he couldn't answer the question. He had spent his entire life preparing to live, but he had never actually lived. The turning point, the ordinary man's extraordinary realization. That evening, Arthur didn't go straight home. Instead, he walked through a neighborhood park he had passed 1,000 times without ever really seeing. He sat on a wooden bench as the sun began to dip below the horizon, painting the sky in brilliant shades of amber and violet. For the first time in decades, Arthur just watched. He watched an old dog joyfully chase a stray leaf. He listened to the laughter of children echoing in the distance. He felt the cool evening breeze brush against his face. And right there, sitting on a worn-out park bench, Arthur's extraordinary secret was born. It wasn't a complex psychological theory or a secret formula. It was a radical shift in perspective. Arthur realized that happiness is not a grand destination. It is an active awareness of the present. The world tells us we need extraordinary circumstances to feel extraordinary joy. But Arthur discovered the exact opposite. Extraordinary joy is found in ordinary moments, if we only slow down enough to notice them. He realized that waiting for life to become perfect before you allow yourself to be happy is like refusing to breathe until you reach the top of a mountain. You will suffocate long before you get there. Applying the secret, how to rewire your mind from that day on, Arthur's life completely transformed, even though his external circumstances didn't change at all. He still rode the same bus. He still lived in the same apartment. and he still faced the same everyday challenges. But he was different. Arthur started practicing what he called micro-joy. Every single day, he committed to finding 3 tiny, ordinary things to appreciate. It wasn't about toxic positivity or ignoring life's hardships. Arthur still felt grief, stress, and fatigue, but he refused to let those emotions hijack his entire existence. He found joy in the rich aroma of his morning coffee. He found joy in a kind word from a stranger at the grocery store. He found joy in the quiet silence of his apartment before the sun came up. By shifting his focus from what he lacked to what was already present, his brain began to rewire itself. His chronic anxiety melted away. The constant knot in his stomach disappeared. He stopped living in the anxious shadow of tomorrow and finally stepped into the warm light of today. People who met Arthur in his later years often commented on how magnetic his energy was. They would ask him, "Arthur, what's your secret? You always seem so at peace." And Arthur would just smile and say, "I stopped waiting to be happy, and I decided to notice that I already am." Think about your own life right now. How much of your energy is spent chasing a future version of happiness while letting the present moment slip through your fingers? You don't need to quit your job, move to a remote island, or wait for a miracle to experience true joy. The power of happiness has been inside you all along, waiting for your permission to wake up. If this story resonated with you, take a moment right now to look around you. Find one small, ordinary thing to appreciate, because life isn't measured by the breaths we take, but by the moments that take our breath away. If you enjoyed this video and want to explore more stories that awaken the soul, hit that subscribe button right now and turn on notifications so you never miss a journey. Drop a comment below telling me, what is one ordinary thing that brought you joy today? I read every single comment, and I can't wait to hear yours. Thank you for watching. Remember to stay mindful, and I will see you in the next video.